And welcome on in. How's it going, everybody? So, you know what? We're just going to lead right in. I will look at those super chats in a moment, but I want to lead on in asking the question because I know everyone seemed to be having fun during the race itself and didn't like the finish. So what you giving it? 10 being the best, 1 being the worst. I want to know what you think because, man, the race was, pretty normal for Daytona standards. Yeah, I had good enough fun with it. But man, we are allergic to regulation finishes these days. It's absolutely insane. We didn't get a flip, so no three-peat for flips. But I'm seeing a lot of 6.5s, 8, 5s, 4s, 7s. Listen, I'll say this. I thought the race itself, again, all right for Daytona standards, but like I saw, I think somebody put in here, I don't know if it was a super chat or a chat itself. I saw in the chat somewhere, somebody put that good race, wet fart of a finish, and that's kind of how I feel about it. It's like, there was plenty of intriguing pieces of this race, and the way it finished just is kind of, but it is what it is, man. I'm happy to see that Jordan Anderson finished up front. I should probably add in unofficial to the post-race results. Don't worry, I will hopefully not forget this time. Unofficial results. There we go. On-air production meeting. But let's go over the 2024 Wawa 250 at Daytona. And immediately NASCAR on their website has Truex Triumphs. Nice. That's probably what I should have named this stream. But this race is 102 laps long, 2 hours, 18 minutes, or 2 hours, 10 minutes, and 34 seconds. 19 lead changes among 9 leaders, 7 cautions. And I see on screen right now, Ryan Sieg is currently in the Xfinity Series playoffs. 15 points, I believe, over Sammy Smith. So for you Ryan Sieg fans in there, celebrate. That is good news for all of y'all out there. But yes, Ryan Truex wins this race over Chandler Smith. Parker Kligerman in third. Fourth is Riley Herbst. Fifth, Ryan Sieg. Sixth, Jordan Anderson. Gotta love it when Jordan Anderson runs well. Good dude. Seventh is Justin Allgaier, then Sheldon Creed in eighth, ninth Leland Honeyman, and Kyle Weatherman in the 10th spot. The Weatherman gets a top 10. Josh Williams in 11th, 12th is Joe Graff Jr., 13th Sam Mayer, Perkins in 14th, right over Kyle Sieg in 15th, Poole in the 16th spot, 17th Jeb Burton, Patrick Emmerling in 18th, McLaughlin in 19th, Joey Gase rounds out the top 20. And then to finish out the lead lap, there's Jesse Love in 21st. So he did get moved ahead of Brandon Jones, who will be 22nd. So again, on-air production meeting as as I go and fix the unofficial results. I'm going to take a picture right now because we will go over the playoff standings. Again, this is what you guys get to see when I'm not live, or like this is how I am. So yeah, Love comes home 21st and Brandon Jones comes home 22nd. After that, Sammy Smith 23rd and AJ Allmendinger in 24th. Then one lap down for Shane Van Gisbergen in 25th, Anthony Alfredo in 26th, and 27th place Jeremy Clements. 3 down for Jeffrey Earnhardt. Cesar Beccarella out of the race in 29th. Got a rare on-air interview. Josh Bilicki out of the race as well in 30th. And then final car on track finishes out 23 laps down is Austin Hill in 31st. Rest of these guys are out. That's Cole Custer in 32nd. Matty D in 33rd. 34th, Parker Retzlaff. Tim Vaines in 35th. Gus Dean, 36th. Ryan Ellis, 37th. And Ogata did not finish a lap today. 38th and last. So let's get the unofficial results up. They are probably going to change, so just bear with me on that. As for The playoff standings. You got your winners, Allgaier, SVG, Smith, Hill, Mayer, Love, Custer, and Herbst. Then AJ Allmendinger with 4 races remaining in the regular season will be 113 above the cut line. Sheldon Creed plus 93. Parker Kligerman plus 44. Those 3 I think are pretty good to go. I know Atlanta's still on the horizon. I know the Glen and Bristol are still on the horizon before the playoffs start. I think that they'll be good enough, and I don't think Atlanta is as crazy as Daytona or Talladega. Xfinity-wise, it really isn't. But the real battle is between Ryan Sieg and Sammy Smith. Ryan Sieg 15 up in 12th. And Sammy Smith, 13th, minus 15. After that, Jones, Alfredo Poole, almost mathematically eliminated at this point. But yeah, it's going to be interesting. I'll say that. Let's go over the race itself. Chandler Smith starts on pole after 1 round of qualifying. The rest of it got lightning delayed out. After that, pre-race, this is important. Austin Hill had radio issues. They got it fixed, but he was not allowed to retain position because of unapproved adjustments before the start. And on lap 1, he is caught up in a crash. I counted about 8 or so cars in it. Caught up in a crash and basically put behind the wall after the first restart, after they cleared the amount, like the time that they had to hit on track. But I would say the guy who was the all-out favorite coming into this completely trashed, not even a full lap into this event. They're cutting post-race early. Well, that's why you got me. I'm such an ass. They got to get to their reruns of their crappy shows that nobody watches. But others got caught up in it as well. I saw the 43, the 15, 28, 51, 35, 14, 32. And crazy enough, at the same time as this is all going on, as the caution is going, they put some stay dry down out of turn 4 into the pits, and Gus Dean, AM Racing, blows an engine right on all the stage dry. It was one of the weirdest things. I don't think I've ever seen that during a race like that. Definitely NBCL for sure on that one. We'll talk about, I'll write that down. We will talk about that Wednesday night on my channel for NWP. But anyway, we get back restarted. You know what? There were a couple out there that really battled hard for the lead early on in this race. You had the, Chandler Smith car. You had Herbst. You had Joe Graff Jr. racing on up there. You had AJ Allmendinger. But it ended up being the 16 who was working a lot with the 48 tonight. I'll say that. The 16 and the 48 working well, cutting in and out a little bit. But they were cutting it close. And at the end, it cost them. But it was Justin Allgaier, who I think had probably the best car out there, at least in the first half of this race, winning stage 1 over Chandler Smith, AJ Allmendinger, Sheldon Creed, Kligerman, Truex, Alfredo, then Graff. I wrote Truex because I'm so used to the 19 being Truex. Sammy Smith and Clements, who was caught up in that lap 1 wreck. I see in the chat here, John says, I saw Eric at the race and brought him a cooler of Busch Lights. He smashed about 8 before he started getting wild. I love the joke. I know he wouldn't do that, but that's funny as hell. I'm definitely gonna, you're gonna have to put that one in the chat on Wednesday night to mess with him. But anyway, we go on to stage 2. 00 in the 98 during the caution between stage 1 and 2 made contact on pit road. 98 really didn't have too much of an issue, just like a damaged tire. Tore the entire right front off of the 00. So just absolute weirdness going on. I think, was it Steve Letard or Jeff Burton was like, is there a full moon tonight? There was not. I don't think. We get it back restarted, the 1 and 18. They are on the front row. Mayer gets the bottom rolling early, but it's AJ Allmendinger who gets the top going on good. They start the choo-choo train, and the majority of stage 2 was just choo-choo train racing. But again, Allgaier makes the moves. Again, very good handling, good handling, well-driving car. Side drafts his way up a good ways. wins stage 2 over Herbst, Truex, Allmendinger, Jeb, Kligerman, Creed, Chandler Smith, Jones, and Josh Williams. And then we get to the final stage. Let's see. I love the funny memes in there. Oh, that's awesome. Yeah, I saw that he was doing some stuff out there. By the way, stage 2 ended with a Sam Mayer spin. I'm trying to pay attention to y'all in the chat at the same time as we do this. So I apologize if it's just kind of sporadic. I wrote this down during this because I swore it was going to happen. But I'll put it in here. Do we see a flip tomorrow? We're going to have a poll. So poll is up now. Do we see a flip tomorrow? Yes or no? Or you can leave in the chat. Do we see multiple flips tomorrow? But we get to the final stage here with 35 to go, 20 and 98 out front. Truex gets the lead, and this is, again, the final stages where Truex really started coming on. I will say this, Ryan Truex, in a lot of funny ways, is he's really kind of mirroring what Martin Truex Jr. did in his career of like being a late bloomer, which is, to me, very interesting. I guess it's in the family. By the way, like the stream up. Let's see if we can get to 100 likes before we end this baby off tonight as we get through the final stage. Because it's just something happens, caution. Something happens, caution. It's kind of the way it goes the rest of this. Brandon Jones goes around. No contact in this, but he had a flat tire, it looked like. Spins down. It's one of the 10 million times Jeff Burton had to remind us about asphalt like we couldn't freaking see it. Newsflash, guys, my eyes work. I can see it. And even if my eyes didn't work, after the first 10,000 times he told me there was asphalt down there on the backstretch, I would have gathered it. I'm people on Twitter and Reddit might think I'm slow, but I'm at least fast enough thinking that I can process that one. I swear, man, do it. I'll tell you what, have a drinking game tomorrow night of how many times Steve Letarte or Jeff Burton says asphalt. Say it. Just every time he says it. Every single time. Keep track. I'll tell you what, somebody, I don't know who wants to be at home, keep a tally of how many times they bring it up, because they brought it up sometimes for no damn reason tonight, and it was funny, don't get me wrong, because it was like, okay, yeah, I get it, but at the same time, it got to the point where like, it went from funny, it went from like good analysis to funny to not funny, to now it's kind of getting back to funny again. So either have a drinking game or keep count. Yeah. Who will say it more? Will Jeff Burton say asphalt more, or will Michael Waltrip say Daniel Dye more? That should be the tally test here. That'd be an interesting one. But anyway, we get it back going with 27 to go. 20 and the 16 out front. And again, the 16 and the 48 worked really well together to get out front at different points. But as we'll find out a little bit later, it did not work because there was just a lot of chaos at the end of this race. Starting with 24 laps to go. A big crash comes out. You see the 27 barely kind of hooks the 8 while he's kind of in the middle of being stuck 4 wide. Starts this big crash with the 2, the 8, 9. 00 gets caught up in it. This ends Custer's night, which is just absolutely cratering the end of the regular season for Cole Custer. Mandy D's caught up in it. Parker Retzlaff's caught up in it. I believe Jeb Burton was. Just calamity. And that's why I have as the title of this stream, Early Calamity, Damage on Pit Road, or Damage in the Pits, Late Calamity. Nap Racing Fan, is the NFL preseason affecting tomorrow's race in certain local markets? More than likely, you'd have to check which ones. I know at least for me in the Nashville area, it's not. At least I'm not sure though. I don't follow the preseason, like other than my team. And even then, like I take it with a grain of salt or I watch it on tape delay because it's the preseason. It's just a bunch of lackeys and scrubs trying to make a team that they're almost certainly not going to have any meaningful playing time in. But, Seattle, says Ross Chastain, will be having some issues. If they do it like they have in certain years, there's been times where they'll put the race on CNBC or USA for those whose market is affected. Definitely check that out. But if If not, maybe the NBC Sports app might have it. It sucks. It really does but NFL preseason football gets more viewers now than Daytona, so you can't blame the networks really. But yeah, Custer, back to Custer. That team, that 00 team, I don't know what in the luck bank was withdrawn over the season that needs to be put back in the bottle or what, but it's been rough the last few weeks. But there's time. And he and that team are really good this year, so I'm not going to go into panic mode yet. By the way, 14 likes away from 100. Let's get on up there. I saw that Ross Chastain has the first 2025 diecast revealed with the Busch Light scheme. Looks sharp. I like it. I don't think it's too much of a change from this year, but it's just a good-looking scheme. With 18 to go, we get it back going once again, the 48 and the 16 up front, and you just see the shuffling, the aggressive moves. They're still going to be ramping up in this. This is around the time Truex starts putting himself in position to get the win. With 13 to go, you got Mayer saving it in the backstretch. Again, we'll bring up asphalt. You know what? Just for the hell of it, just because it'd be funny, just spam the word asphalt in the chat. One, because it'd be funny, but two, because I want to see how many of you guys know how to spell the word asphalt. Let's see. What's my response to Daniel Dye joining colleague for 2025 in Xfinity? Must sign a pretty damn good check. But maybe he'll surprise me. Can't be worse than Josh Williams this year. There we go. All the asphalt in the track. There's almost more asphalt in the track than the backstretch of Daytona. Just ask Jeff Burton. With 6 to go, though, we get our next big wreck. This brings out the red flag and sets up an overtime finish with the 20 and the 16 out front. Good push given by Riley Herbst to Ryan Truex on the final restart. The 7 pushing the 98. And it's funny because you can hear them all burping the throttle a little bit, making sure that they don't lock bumpers. A nice little holdover. I saw somebody in the chat during the race ask, why do they do that? Why can't they lock bumpers? So for those, because this was a long time ago, this was almost 15 years ago. So for those who might not know or newer fans, there used to be the 2-car tandem drafting. NASCAR made rule changes on a new car and everything with the Gen 6 and ended up getting rid of it in Cup, but not really as much in the truck and Xfinity Series. It was a largely in part to that, and also in part to the fact that there were just a lot of wrecks that didn't need to happen because people were hooking bumpers, and you get lesser experienced or talented even drivers doing that. So that's the reason why, for those asking. No tires, just gas in the chat. What are my thoughts on JJ McCarthy injury? It sucks, but he wasn't going to play this year anyway, which I like having a redshirt freshman year for quarterbacks, so it's not terrible. 2025 and 6 have been the goal since I'd say the middle of last year, so I'm not too upset. It sucked, but we're Vikings fans. We've been through way worse. But yeah, on the overtime restart, 20 gets out there, and with the 16 getting spun and kind of a bit of a chain reaction, just weird spin from the 16 off the bumper of the 48. Caution comes out as he comes back off the track. Truex ends up getting the win. And you know what? We'll bitch about NASCAR and their calls and all that, but car comes back up the track in front of another 15 oncoming traffic going 190 miles an hour. I'm not going to complain too much. It sucks. Wasn't a great finish, but it is what it is. I'm hoping we got the bad finish out of the way tonight, and tomorrow can be just a straight up banger. That's what I'm hoping, because tonight, I'm with you, Syntax. It was an L finish. Swear jar, I'm a grown man. I can swear when I need. But why'd they wait to throw the yellow? I think they're probably... I'd say they're probably thinking that maybe he'd slide back down the track or not slide back up or anything. But it was a warranted caution. You know, I'm with Noah on that one. It sucks, but fingers crossed this can get the bad finish out of the way. Let's see. Could you also say safety is a factor for not locking bumpers? Possibly. Same reason for trucks. Well, yeah, that's kind of what I was getting to. Like lesser experienced drivers, a lot of crashes that weren't meant to happen, stuff like that. And there's Sheepbot with his weekly, complaining about the next gen in any way. But yeah, they're probably going to save gas tomorrow, so you're not completely wrong either. You're probably right on that one. They're going to probably save gas for the first 2 stages and then stack them all up. I kid because I care. Old Chris Myers thing. Front row. Yeah, McDowell supremacy tomorrow. Let's go. Michael McDowell got the pole. I am happy. It's going to be a BJ McLeod day, though, guys. BJ McLeod's going to get the win. It's going to be awesome, legendary. Nobody's win will be better. Amazing. I really hope BJ McLeod has as fast a car as he has the last couple super speedway races, because if so, I want to see him completely spoil everything for somebody trying to make the playoffs. I really, really do. I really, really do. Let's get to super chats. I keep an eye on the chat. I'm trying to go back and forth all over the place. Again, I thought the race was, good enough for Daytona standards. Sucky finish. Is what it is. Yeah, who doesn't love BJ? I love it, man. Spam BJ in the chat. Let's see what the AI has to say about that one. Bailey with the 2 here says Riley Herbst is an underrated super speedway racer. I agree. I thought even in his cup starts on super speedways, he has been serviceable to a good drafting partner, which for somebody making their first starts is really good. There we go. More. We need more BJs in the chat. That one's not going to get taken out of context. CBB for the 5 says, guys like Retzlaff get cup shots while Ryan Truex can't even get a full-time Xfinity ride. Perfect example of how busted the model is in this sport. I agree. Ryan Truex, again, early on, started the 2010s. Remember, he was racing Xfinity in I think 2010, 11, 12. Had some pretty good runs at different points. Has gotten even better now with the better opportunities. I hope he does get a solid chance at some point. How old is he? He's got to be in his early 30s at this point. Because I remember he was super young when he started out. So he's 32 years old. Wow. Sure same birthday with my mom. But yeah, 32 years old. There's no reason. I mean, I don't remember off the top of my head. Let me see how old he was when he made his first full-time season in Cup, but I can't imagine that Greg Biffle was too much younger than him at that point. So let's see. Yeah, Greg Biffle was 33 or 32, 33 when he had his first full-time Cup season. So I don't see any reason why, if Truex doesn't keep proving himself, why he can't get a shot. The AI. See, the thing is, I don't see the AI. Only you guys get to see it. So, but I guess we're talking about BJ McLeod. Will the Temu shark fins work, me lads? I don't think so, personally. I really don't, but I hope it does. Eric W., thank you for the 5 gifted memberships. Appreciate it. I'm sure that they appreciate it as well. Bobby Blair for the 5 says Ryan Truex deserves a big sponsor and full-time ride after his performance this season. 2 wins in 8 races is incredibly impressive. I'm right with you, preaching to the choir, man. I hope he gets a shot. Twin Spinner, you're the one I was probably thinking of earlier with the 2 here, saying another wet fart of a green, white, yellow. I like that. We should just call them green, white, yellows from now on. I'm gonna make sure I write that down as well. You guys are on it tonight, man. Sly Supersonic for the 581 says, this race proved why asphalt is safer than grass. I know it's not as pretty, but this is racing, not a beauty pageant. We don't need grass. 7 out of 10. I mean, I'd say in general on the base argument, I agree. I do like the look of grass better, but if you're looking for better racing and what makes it better for all the competitors, I agree. It's just fugly. CBB for the 6-month member chat. Nice. Does this mean Ryan has more Daytona wins than MTJ? I'm pretty sure. Yeah, pretty sure. I know that Ryan Martin, I should say, had 3 straight Xfinity wins at Talladega. Still hasn't got that super speedway one. So there's that. Yeah, I mean, if you want that middle ground, turf is an option. Charlotte proved it can work. Did you see Urinating Tree's new video? Yeah, and I agreed with probably 90% of what he said. There were little things here and there I disagreed with, but I think the basis of his video I agreed with. Garabuki for the 5 says, what does it say about me that my first reaction when I see Austin Hill wreck is, someone from the NWP is gonna tank in the pick points? It says you're competitive, which there's nothing wrong with that, as long as you don't take it too far, and that's not too far. That somebody was Danny B, by the way. And to be fair, like, somehow, even with my guy getting wrecked, I still finished second out of us. So I only lost 1 point to y'all. So, cool enough. Mittens, what's up? Back from the dead again for the 5. Says, just watched NWP today, and the Brewer slander must stop. No. No, but the sausage races are cool. I like that. That's some cool stuff. Bobby Blair for the 5 here says, fun fact, this is the first time a Truex has won at Daytona in any shape or form since 2005 MTJ Xfinity. Congrats to Ryan. So yeah, I will fully say I am not well versed on the on the Truex Super Speedway racing history, so I apologize. So maybe as even I don't exactly know off the top of my head. Believe it or not, I don't remember every single detail about 20 years ago. As much as people might think I do. Andrew, thank you for the 16-month member chat, saying, will we see a split at the end of the year? No. No. I think the split itself was such a definitive moment for racing. Nobody could be that stupid again to do that. Nobody. And especially since, based on what reports have been, the majority of the teams seem to be on the same page and just want to get it done. I see them more than likely, like, maybe you might see like a 23-11 or someone not show up, maybe, you know, at the Clash, I guess, if you're taking drastic measures. But I don't see people like sitting out the Daytona 500. I don't see people sitting out the majority of races, at least not too awful many that would make a big impact. I see the teams honestly folding. NASCAR did a really good job with this, of getting the chips all in their favor on it. I think that you're more than likely going to see all but 1 or 2 of the teams just begrudgingly sign it and say, screw it, we just want to get this stuff done and take it. Because it sounds like for the most part, the money side of it's already been decided. So I don't see why they wouldn't sign it. At least when there's no other option left but to do so, I don't see them splitting in any way. But yeah. But let's see. Hold on, let me get a spammer out of here. Oh yeah, we'll get the spammer out of here for now. No spamming, y'all. I know it's exciting and all, but no spamming. But yeah, overall, I really did like Urinating Trees video. I don't see him making another video until probably like the end of the decade on NASCAR at this point. Good dude. I think that some things he said, again, were general lack of knowledge of NASCAR. But the thing you need to understand about somebody like a Urinating Tree or a 5 Points Vids or somebody in the general sports scene making a NASCAR video is not that necessarily they're going to know every little intricacy of the sport, is more that they're giving you a bit of a lens into what people outside of the NASCAR bubble think. And like it or not, people like Tree are in the majority when it comes to their outlook of NASCAR. Tree used to watch a lot of NASCAR back until about, I'd say, from what he talked about, at least when I was able to talk with him more about it at Daytona a couple years back. He watched up until about the start to middle of the COT era, and he sort of fell off because of different changes, gimmicks, stuff like that. There's a lot of people, and it's not a bunch of old heads that are like in their 50s, 60s, 70s that, you know, a lot of teenagers will like to complain about. There's a lot of people that, you know, in their late 20s, 30s, 40s that feel the same way as Tree is saying. And Tree is one of them. So I would not, if people are upset with some of the stuff he said or think he treated it unfairly, I would take a step back before lashing out about it, because there's a lot of people that feel the same way, and I think NASCAR just doesn't see it. I think NASCAR's like, we just got to keep diving to the bottom of the tunnel. We'll get them back. We'll just go all the way through. We'll get them back. And just saying, man. But it's not. I think it's a very interesting lens. I know a lot of you, I see some of you started watching during the COT. I don't hate the COT era. I think they were butt ugly until about 2011, but I think they put on better racing than a lot of the Gen 6 era, generally for tracks under about a mile and a third. Better racing than the next gen. But it was a step down from the era before. And I think only people who really watched that era into the next and aren't working for NASCAR, because they'll never say the truth. I think only people who were watching before and then saw the COT era would kind of fully understand that. But yeah. But hey, it is what it is. I think it's going to be a fun race tomorrow for the most part. What you kind of got to hope for is that, like, there's an early caution in the start of each stage so that they have to pit for fuel and they don't have to save fuel or something. They'll probably save fuel, but you know. But yeah, we'll be live tomorrow night after the Cup race, hopefully, knock on wood, and after the truck race at Milwaukee. Based on rumors, might be the last truck race for a long time, if ever, at Milwaukee. So tune in. But we'll be live after both of them, and then we'll be live on Wednesday night on this channel for NWP. Gonna be a fun, loaded weekend. But I can't wait, and I can't wait to see all you guys. Lee Diffie tomorrow. Awesome stuff there. Listen, I know some people might not be crazy about it, but I like Lee Diffie, and I think that if it's an awesome finish, it'll be really awesome hearing him. But yeah, let's see. No Save Milwaukee racing date. I don't think it has anything to do with the racing. I'll just say that. But thank you guys so much for coming on in. I appreciate it a ton, and I will see you tomorrow night. Enjoy the rest of your Friday. Later, y'all.